I'm super excited to, for those of you that don't know Candace, maybe there's only one of you that doesn't know Candace Decker, but she's a top agent, a broker, team leader. How's it going, Candace?
It's awesome. Thank you for having me today.
Awesome. Well, if you could jump right in and share a little bit about yourself and then just roll right into how to get more listings and your time back. So here we have Candace Decker. Thank you.
Awesome. And I can share my screen, correct?
Absolutely.
All right, give me
Yeah.
1 second here. Share this with you guys. All right. You guys see my screen?
Yes, perfect.
Awesome. So a little bit about myself. I've been in the real estate business for 10 years, moved markets a couple of different times. So had a few restarts. I have been with EXP for the last 5 years, grown my revenue share group to about 200 people. And I have been helping my friends staff their real estate businesses with virtual assistants for the last 4 years. And then last year, we launched Easily Virtual. And so when Tom asked me, hey, can you come on and talk to my group next week? Talk about how we can get more listings. I'm like, awesome. I know exactly what I want to talk about. I know that getting listings right now is something everybody really wants to do more of. So that's what we're going to do today. And I have a ton to go over with you guys. So we're just going to get started. Cool.
Well, that's great. Okay.
So the reason you guys are probably on this call today is you're looking to get two more things. The two resources we all want more of: time and money, right? And I always thought that you had to trade time for money and money for time. But what I realized is that's not actually true. If you can structure your day properly, get the leverage, and have the skills to go get listings, you can in fact have both time and money. So I think that's a myth that we all need to get out of our minds, because it is possible. If you guys are like me, so I have 2 kids. They are 6 and 8, and I have a husband. I started out in the business primarily as a buyer's agent, right? And I'm sure many of you guys have done the same. You start out as a buyer's agent because it's easier to work with buyers. Typically, it's easier to lead gen for them. You get more phone calls as a newer agent. You're working open houses. But guys, can we all agree that buyers are extremely time intensive? Like, you may show, I know I have agents on my team right now who are showing 20, 30, 40 homes to buyers because we have more inventory in our market. And so as I was a new mom with a 6-month-old and a 2.5-year-old at home, and you could see me multitasking here, is like I was burnt out. I was out showing houses all day. I was coming home, I was doing paperwork, I was wearing my baby as I was entering all of my leads from, my scratch paper from the day. And my husband was always really frustrated with me because he's a saint, but like he was doing a lot of the heavy lifting at home. I wasn't being the best mom I could be because I was trying to grow my business. And at that time, I was at about 100,000 in GCI. And I knew I could do more. I knew I was capable of more, but I couldn't fully be a buyer's agent, work on my own, take care of 2 kids and my house. And so I was just really frustrated. And I made the decision that I was going to turn my business into solely a listing-based business. And so over the 5 years after that, I spent time really learning how to be a sole listing agent that was going to allow me to get my time back. So on the weekends, when I'm on the boat with my family, the buyer's agents are the ones out showing my listings all day, writing the offers, and doing the majority of the work when I was at home with my family. And so when I realized that becoming a listing agent could give me my time back, I was all in, sold on it. And so through the journey of that, I brought on a virtual assistant. And I'll show you guys exactly what the day looked like and how we structured that. But I was able to get my time back so that I wasn't working until 11 o'clock at night, midnight, and skipping dinner, skipping putting the kids to bed. All of those important things that you want to do as a parent, I missed out on because I was head down in the business, working 12 to 14-hour days. And so for me, as I really understood how I could delegate things out to an assistant, all of a sudden my world changed because I was doing the things that mattered, that was growing my income. And so over the last 5 years, I have figured out how to delegate a lot of things so that I could grow my team, grow my revenue share organization, and grow other businesses and passions and invest in real estate and doing all of these things that I want. And when you do that, now you have a more peaceful life. You get your time back, but you're also growing your income. So it's a journey. It takes a couple of years, but I want to show you guys exactly like how I started and how we are where we are. All right. So I like to interact. So if you guys have a piece of paper, what I want you to do is figure out what your desired income is for this year. Okay. So we're going to work this backwards. So what is your desired income? Let's say it's 500,000. Okay. We're going to divide that by 2,000 working hours. And that's going to give you your new hourly rate. And today we're going to use $250 an hour. So if your number came out to $100 an hour, that is your new hourly rate. You are going to delegate everything else out. I'm going to show you what that looks like. All right. Does everyone have their number?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Perfect. Okay. And then I want you guys to write down your 3 superpowers. What are the 3 things in your business that if you did that for just 3 to 4 hours a day, that your whole life would change? So for me, those things were expired listings, social media videos, and agent to agent connections and referrals. I could do that all day long. Brand blows up, income blows up. If those were the 3 things you could focus on. If you guys want to share any of them in the chat. Tom said having conversations, networking. So what are your 3 superpowers? And also, if you guys have an assistant or team members that you have currently, this is a great exercise to do with them to see like what they're really, really skilled at. All right. Have you guys ever seen this money-making activities chart before? If you've been in coaching, this might be something that you've looked at before. So what I recommend is taking a sheet of paper throughout your day, putting a line down the middle, and putting in your left column, okay, these are my money-making activities. Your superpowers are in there. Appointment setting is in there. Negotiating deals, networking, being a visionary. So I'm sure you guys have a lot of grandiose ideas that will pop into your head like, wow, wouldn't this be so cool if I planned this client event at this place, and you have this great idea, but you have no idea how to execute on it? Okay, so you are the visionary. You need somebody to execute on those things for you. And then delegate, delegate, delegate. So when I was working in my office till midnight, you guys know, like you've experienced that before. You're working really, really long hours. It's just because you don't have the help. And I think in the beginning, you have to go through that because you can't afford the expense to get help. But as your business grows, you're going to want to delegate as much as possible. And then on the right column, so throughout the day today, because it's only 9:15 there. So this would be a great thing to do today. What are the things that you're doing throughout the day today that you're like, oh, why am I doing this? This isn't one of my superpowers. Do you guys hate paperwork? Like I suck at paperwork. My TCs, if I ever have to do a contract, I I freak out. So I'm not good at paperwork. We're salespeople. We shouldn't be good at paperwork because we're not super analytical. And so is filling out a piece of paper going to make us money? Technically, yeah, when the deal closes, but is that something that could be delegated out so you're not doing? Sending DocuSigns to your clients, something that could be delegated. Transaction coordination. I don't think any of us should be TCing our own deals. You can easily pay to have that done. Somebody who's super detail oriented, who's doing the data entry, managing your emails. I just went through my notifications on my iPhone, and I had in 1 week over 1,500 notifications, and 900 of those were from Gmail. So that means that over 1,000 times a week, and yours is probably the same, your email is popping up on your phone and it's distracting you. And then you're opening the email and then you're getting distracted and going down a different rabbit hole. So having somebody else manage your emails, taking those notifications away so that you can focus on your day is very important. And then social media. How is your social media growing if you are out doing these left activities, right? So can you get help with that? And then listing management. So putting together your listing contracts, putting together, sending the disclosures out to your clients, any of that kind of stuff, ordering photos, ordering the yard sign, like, can that be delegated out as well? So anything that takes away from your money making activities, put it in the right column and see if you can delegate that out. Whether it's having an assistant or having possibly a per deal or per listing coordinator, anything that can take those distractions away from you because they're distracting away from your income. So I wanted to show you guys, this is a calendar that I use for prospecting. So wake up 4:45, get on the East Coast 5 a.m. call, go to my computer, work on projects or work on catching up on emails from the night before, getting ready, getting the kids up and ready, working out, dropping the kids off at school, script practice, prospecting for at least 2 hours, checking messages, prepping for appointments, office meeting if there is one, shooting videos, and appointments. So nowhere in there is there paperwork, is there anything that doesn't have to do with my family, prospecting, or appointments. And I'm going to give you guys my Instagram at the end. If you guys want to message me, I can send you a copy of that. But that's what a typical day would look like. All right, so what is my prospecting standards? So I was calling expired past clients, pretty much anybody that would talk to me. When I was putting this together, I was thinking about how we're always trying to buy leads and find new systems and platforms. But the reality is the conversion on a typical online lead is like 1 to 3%. And I don't think that that's very different than if you were just to go in the phone book or go through your contacts in your phone and making calls there. So what I think is important is to have this dedicated 2 hours of time a day. It doesn't matter who you're talking to. So if you ever get that in your head, that limiting belief of like, oh, I don't want to call people I know, or I'm afraid to make calls, or I don't know who to talk to, it really doesn't matter. Just speaking to another human about real estate, because you may be very surprised on who knows who. So make it a standard to talk for 2 hours a day about real estate. And it does not matter who it is. I personally called expireds. I think that is a great lead source because those are people who made the decision to sell their home. It didn't sell. Typically, they're motivated, and there may be 50 agents calling on the first day, but it's very rare that you're going to have agents continuing to call 2 weeks in. And if you can set the 2 hours of time every morning, non-negotiable no matter what, well, what's going to happen is eventually those people are going to want to sell, and you have built so much rapport with them that, and you continue to follow up, that at some point they are going to sell. So I can tell you, like, when I started doing this and being super proactive, I took 15 listings in 1 month because I was so I was so consistent on sticking to this plan. So it does work, but you have to remain consistent with it. And my goal would be to book 1 appointment every day. That's the goal. That is the intention, is to get an appointment out of that a day and attend an appointment every day. So it's very much a do not disturb time. And for me, my virtual assistant came in to play is I have my screen up, ready to go. I have my headphones on. I'm head down, making the calls, and then I'm messaging her the notes and the information as I'm going through the calls so that she's sending the email templates. Let's just say I have a great conversation. I get an email address. She's putting it in the CRM, and then she's sending an email out. And if I book an appointment, it's being added into my calendar. Like, we are rolling. We keep things moving. And so, now you've got this left hand who's there to take care of all that stuff so that when you get off of your call, you can move right on to the next one. So if you see, it's like just a very speedy process, a well-oiled machine that we had going that would take us quickly through those 2 hours. Okay, boom. And then let's get ready for the next appointment. And I will have my virtual assistant put together the listing paperwork for the appointment. So, I'm doing the initial prep work on the CMAs and the comps, and then pulling the tax records, putting together the listing documents. So everything that needed to be done would be emailed to me. I would just print it out and take it and run to my appointment. While I'm driving and attending the appointment, then driving back, you know how sometimes that takes like 3 hours? So there's almost half your day sometimes on just that one afternoon appointment. So while that's happening, your assistant is doing anything and everything on the back end. So posting to social media, following up in your calendar and adding things if needed, going into your database and making updates and pulling people who are motivated, who want to buy or sell, looking at offers, pulling together paperwork, getting things signed, etc. And then other special projects that I'll show you guys. So that way, when I'm done with my appointments at 5 o'clock, I can go home to my family and I don't have to spend the next 3 hours on paperwork and I got to pay that bill and I forgot to add this in my calendar. It's all being done throughout the day so that I'm not stressed with a super long to-do list at the end. Cool. If you guys have any questions as we go, feel free to add them in the chat. And yes, I can, if Tom gives me your email, or I'll give him the slide deck, and you can definitely have this at the end, no problem. All right, so the top daily tasks to drive for listings, okay? These are all things that I have done and that my team now does. I have 2 really strong listing agents who do all the listings for me now. But the way that our team gets listings is our virtual assistant manages our Google business page. So does everyone have a Google business page? I hope you do. Okay, so if you are currently not ranking very high in your city, there's Probably a couple of reasons. Number one, you don't have very many reviews. That's the first problem. Number two, you may not be posting. So Google Business has almost like a wall, like Facebook, where you can post listings and pictures and updates. So they want to see that you're continuously adding stuff on there. And then we also do something called geotagging. And what that is, and I can also, Tom will send this to you. It's the SOPs on how to do it. So you would take a photo, you add coordinates on the back end of the photo. I don't know the technical name for it. And then you upload it to Google. So let's say you sold a house 20 minutes away from your office location. Google helps ping in that location based on that geotag. I hope that makes sense. But these are things that my virtual assistant is going in every day and adding 5 new photos so that we're showing up in new locations. And then the other thing with Google Business is, and the reason we don't put reviews on Zillow or Realtor or any of those other websites is because Google allows anybody to leave a review for you, okay? Your mother, your brother, your friends, like it really doesn't matter. So your goal should be to have at least, if you don't have 100 so far, I would really urge you to ramp that up and then have a process for you to receive reviews. That's really, really important. We get a lot of organic Google Business page listing opportunities just because we have somebody working on it daily. Then the other thing you can do, and we have clients right now whose virtual assistants are doing this for them. You can do it through Cloud CMA, or I'm sure there's many other programs through your MLS. You have a list of past clients. You have a list of your SOI with their addresses. Your virtual assistant can prepare what we call equity checkups, which is a nice way of calling it a CMA, but do our clients know what a CMA is? No, it was like foreign language. They don't know what a CMA is. So we do equity checkups with our clients. Think about, you have a financial advisor, okay, or you have an Edward Jones account or a Fidelity account. Are you getting something via email or mail once a month with your balance, with your investment balance? Yeah. Can you imagine if you did have $500,000 with Edward Jones in an IRA and like you never got a statement? Wouldn't you be wondering, did that go up? Did it go down? Like, where's the market right now? And I look at that the same way in our business, because our clients, if we're not sending them an update, they're going on Zillow and they're looking on Zillow. And then what happens? They're looking at an estimate that's not accurate. They're either assuming that their value is way lower than they thought, or maybe way higher than they thought. And maybe they start clicking around and all of a sudden they're looking at a new house and they click the tour connect button. Like, we don't want our clients on Zillow, right? So you can have somebody on your back end preparing these equity checkups for your clients, emailing them out and texting them in your database as if it was you. And you just put the template together. By the way, ChatGPT can do it in like 2 minutes. And then now you have this beautiful email and you have somebody preparing these CMAs on a monthly basis for your clients. You're going to look like an absolute rock star. And not only are you going to stay in front of them, but they may have referrals they may want to sell. So it's just a great way to stay top of mind and to educate your clients and to be the real knowledge broker. But again, like, that's not something that I want to be doing. I want to be on the phone with our clients. Tom said his superpower is talking to people, and we're in a human experience business. So we want to be on the front of the communication and having somebody on the back end of the communication. And then sending a weekly newsletter to your database. Who right now is sending an email to their database on a weekly basis? Most of us don't, because The reason is because we forget, we're busy, we don't have time for it, we don't know what to say, right? That's like, it's a hard thing to do. I started sending a weekly newsletter to a group of 8,000 business owners. So a little bit different than my team, but I started this about 25 weeks ago, and the open rates are like 40%. So every week, those 3,500 people are opening and reading my emails and responding to me. If you haven't done it, it's something that you absolutely want to implement, because it may take you 10 minutes to put together, but just that consistency again every week of people seeing you is a really big deal. And you can easily do it on MailChimp or just within your database, but having somebody on the back end get it set up for you. And I know I don't use ChatGPT for my newsletters, but you easily could. Right? You could easily come up with one topic and put the email together. But it's nice to have somebody on the back end setting it all up and sending it out. Again, you're the visionary. You're the one just saying, okay, this is what I want to send. And then somebody on the back end is executing it for you. Video editing and social media posting. So you guys do not want to spend hours editing your videos, right? You are a real estate agent. And a lot of times I hear real estate agents are spending hours cutting and editing their videos to post to all these different social media platforms. Now we have Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. What am I forgetting? There's Threads. Like, there are so many different platforms. So what I do is I'll shoot the video, send it to a virtual assistant. And by the way, you can do this on Fiverr or Upwork too. Any of those are fine, but sending those out and then just having templates. And so when you have a new listing or you have a video update you want to send out, they already know exactly what they're sending and where to distribute it to, so that you don't have to. And then social media outreach. My virtual assistant is in my Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram every single morning. If I have a new follower, she's sending them a message and reaching out to them. And then cold messaging on Facebook, 25 people a day. There's a template we use, and then it's just done every single day. And then I know we are running short on time, but past client gifts, cards, birthday cards, anything like that can be automated on the back end, guys. Really, really important, because when your past clients, when you're staying in touch with them, who are they going to want to list with? Who are they recommending once they're ready to go? The agent that is staying the most in front of them. And so all of these things can easily be done with a virtual assistant, so that you are prospecting and you are going to appointments every day, putting that in the front of your business. That way you can go home to your family, you can go home to your hobbies. You aren't going to be as buried in your work as you may have been. And ultimately, virtual assistant makes you look like an absolute rock star that you are. They let you shine while they're working on the back end, making you look awesome. Cool. And ultimately, I like to have a clear mind to think and to kind of like dissect my business and figure out what's working and what's not. And I feel like when you are working these crazy hours, you have this endless to-do list, like you can never have any clarity. Do you guys ever feel like when you go on vacation, you can you can actually think, you come up with these brilliant ideas, and then you come home and you're like piled in your work and it all goes out the window? Oh, Don's smiling. He knows. So I want you guys to feel a little bit more like you're on vacation, have a little bit more time to think and to strategize about how you're going to move forward and grow your income, versus just being piled in work for the next 10 years. Because that's not the quality of life that you deserve or the people around you deserve, because you can't be fully present when you're dragged down. Cool. You guys have any questions? I know I just went through a lot.
Wow, this was awesome. Well, this ties right into my morning workout. I have a workout with a new coach, and he was asking, and the same thing, what is your clear outcome? And tie it in with your why, and then elaborate on the emotional outcome. And you shared, I love it, a life by design, with your family, and what's your superpower. Have conversations. I love the equity checkup. And then one of my favorite quotes is, you don't have to be great, you just have to be consistent. So those were some of my takeaways and aha. Got a few more minutes. Who has a question or an aha? Let's go.
Hey, Candace, you mentioned you've been in the business for 10 years, but you've done a couple of relocations. Sounds like you're doing tremendous activity. How long does it take you to get up to, and what level of production are you at now? And how long does it take to get up to, say, icon level production for you, implementing the type of systems that you do?
Sure. So I moved from Illinois to South Florida back at the end of 2019. So I've been here about 4.5 years. Started out as a single agent with a virtual assistant, just pounding the phones. And it took me, I was able to icon right away the first year that I was down here, but I implemented everything that I showed you today. It was focusing on prospecting and video. And the part on video was really becoming the mayor, the media mayor of my city. So every week I would go with a videographer to a different restaurant, and I would choose like the most popular restaurants, just call them up, say, hey, I'm a local real estate agent. I love your restaurant. And to honor you guys, I'd love to bring my videographer. All you guys have to do is make a couple of your favorite dishes, and then we're going to put this on social media. And just from me being so consistent with Facebook and Instagram, and then distributing those videos, a lot of people, and I live in a city of 200,000 people, so it's not a small town. And I was able to come really on day one and be known as the expert in my community, just because people saw my videos and how active I was on social media. And it really was just a play to solidify myself as the go-to agent in my city. Well, I was prospecting every morning though. So it was like, prospecting to me is a non-negotiable, because I mean, there's no other way besides waiting for your phone to ring. So just being on the phones every day, and I took a listing on day one that I was here, but that was because I hit the phone at 8 a.m. Right. So it probably took 6 months to like really, really take off. But I was probably taking about 8 to 10 listings a month.
And so 2 hours of prospecting daily, it sounds like, is what you do.
Yeah, I was doing 4 hours when I first moved to my new market.
Mm-hmm. And what is that market?
Cape Coral, Fort Myers, Florida.
Yeah. Okay. I know that area. Nice. Well, it's impressive. Thank you so much for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 1 or 2 more questions. Who else? Let's go.
Hey, Cadence, I appreciate everything. So how do you get your virtual assistant trained? I mean, how do you find them? How do you get them? I had a little experience with it, and I feel like they sit there and wait, well, give me task. And I feel like it takes me almost as much time, to get them up to speed as it is to do it. And I was struggling that, and then, so I'm just, how do you get that leverage? How do you train them? How do you make it happen?
So I'm writing this down, because the other thing I'm going to send over to Tom is my daily task list that my VA's been with me for almost 5 years. So we've created this daily task list, and it's what she follows every day. So I'll also have that sent over. So you'll have that exact list. But Our company, we only hire out full-time virtual assistants for real estate agents, and some people don't necessarily need 40 hours. So if you may have a part-time person, you may have a full-time person, but the important thing is to make sure that their day is extremely structured. And that's why this daily task list, they start out with it. First thing they do is, they're gonna start going through that list until it's prospecting time, and then pick back up on that list. But training for us, like, we only hire people who have real estate experience so that the learning curve's a little less. If you are bringing on a virtual assistant that has no real estate experience, now all of a sudden you're teaching them about real estate and your processes, so it's a little bit tougher. I would really make sure you have someone who has previous real estate experience, and then having them follow a checklist every day. And they like consistency. I don't think they like going without direction, so it's helpful for them too.
Thank
Okay.
you. Makes sense.
One more question. I'm going to put in the chat. By the way, Sphere Rocket is a great virtual assistant company, and they train them for you. So Sphere Rocket. Well, this is great. Thank you so much, Candace. I really appreciate this. So I love your energy, and I love the fact that you shared your story and that you realize it takes work. I mean, and if we're consistent, if we put it in our calendar, and if we have conversations and book one appointment a day and attend one appointment a day, oh my gosh, we're going to build up so much momentum that our business, we're going to have everything we want, and we're going to have the life by design. So thank you, everyone, for attending. We'll see you all next week. Now you got your inspiration. Time to put in the perspiration. Thanks, Candace. Thanks, y'all. We'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thanks.